It's finally time to go into the design editor itself, and without overselling it too much, the design editor is the backbone of Vev and where you're likely going to be spending most of your time in the platform. For ease of use, we split the UI of the design editor into 4 key areas. We have the canvas, the content panel, top bar navigation, and finally the style panel. This lesson is designed to give an overview of the design editor interface, but we'll be going into each of these areas in more details over the remainder of this course. The canvas is the viewport that represents the screen size of a user viewing your Vev content. It will vary by device and when a user resizes their browser window. Since devices come in all shapes and sizes, the viewport has different breakpoints to help you see how your content will look on each of them. For example, desktop, tablet, and mobile. As we covered in the last lesson, this was set up just before coming into the editor if you're starting from a blank canvas. Underneath the canvas, at the bottom right of the editor, you'll see 4 different options. The first option we have is the background switcher. This option switches the color of the background of the editor between dark and light mode. This is a great way to create contrast against the canvas you're working on. For example, if your design follows more of a dark theme, you can set the background to light to be able to clearly see the canvas better. Next along, we have the breakpoint view selector. This allows you to switch between the different breakpoint views, and from this menu, you can easily select which breakpoint it is that you want to view. Depending on what setup you have for your breakpoints in the project, you will see your main device at the top of this list. Using desktop first as an example, we will see the desktop as 1, tablet as 2, and mobile as 3. You can use this selector to switch between set breakpoints, but you can alternatively use the keyboard shortcuts between 1 to 9 to quickly switch between them on the fly. You can also adjust the breakpoints after the project is created by selecting the Manage Breakpoints option in this menu. But we'll dive into that when we get to the breakpoints versus viewport lesson. The handles located on the right, bottom, and bottom right corners of the canvas also allow you to freely change a viewport by clicking and dragging them. Next, we have the zoom tool, and the zoom tool allows you to view the current viewport at different percentages. Bear in mind that the actual screen resolution of the current viewport will not change when we use this option. From this menu, you'll have the option to select the zoom tool, zoom in, zoom out, reset zoom, zoom to fit canvas, and zoom to selection. You'll also easily be able to access these options by using the keyboard shortcuts displayed in this panel, but I've also highlighted them on the screen for you now. And finally, we have the reload page button, and this allows us to refresh the visual canvas in the editor without needing to refresh the entire page and the user interface. The content panel is located on the left-hand side of the editor and consists of tabs to allow you to add and manage the content of your page. Details on these separate tabs will be covered in later lessons in this course, but you can also read more about them in the video description below. The top bar navigation allows you to quickly access some of the most essential tools you'll need in Vev. Here we have the pointer. This is a primary tool to allow you to click and drag elements around the canvas. Then we have the pan tool, and when selected, allows you to click to pan around the canvas. Then we have the comment tool, and selecting this switches to commenting mode, allowing you to click a point on the canvas to add and write a comment. The next selection of icons are here so you can quickly add frequently used components to your design. We have the basic section, text, image, video, and frame. Alongside the top bar navigation, you have the share, preview, and publish options. We'll cover publishing and sharing later in this course, but it's good to know that the preview button will allow you to preview your current Vev project before publishing it. When previewing, you'll see that any moving components such as animations or videos will play just as they would on a real web page. You'll also be able to preview any interactions that you may have set up. The style panel will appear in place instead of page settings when you have selected any component on your canvas. There are 3 tabs for the style panel to customize the selected component. First, we have the style tab, and depending on what component you have selected, you'll get contextual styling options. For example, if you have a text box selected, you'll have the option to change the font and styles for each text tag, as well as the options for background, border radius, padding, margin, and much more. Or when you have a section selected, you can use this panel to set a background color or image. Next, we have the Properties tab, And the Properties tab is a contextual menu that will give you property settings based on the component you currently have selected. In most cases, you'll see the default value for setting accessibility tags. For certain components such as slider, you'll see the additional options that are relevant for that component, such as animation or transition speed. This menu can sometimes also be accessed by double-clicking on the desired component, such as video scroll or the YouTube component. And finally here we have the Interactions tab, and this tab allows you to enhance your projects by adding interactivity to your design, as the name would suggest. This is a more intermediate and advanced feature, so we won't be covering interactions within this course.